Welcome back, gamers, to another haunting episode of Porter's Entertainment Station. Today we're going to jump right into 80s horror classic Castlevania. And I use horror lightly, but it does have Dracula, Frankenstein, bats, mummies, and the whole kaleidoscope of awesomeness that is the horror fantasy genre. And you get to use a whip and kick some ass. So let's get into it. Castlevania was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986 and sold a little under 2 million copies in its day. You play as Simon Belmont, a vampire hunter on a mission to vanquish the Lord of the Undead, Count Dracula himself. Developed by Konami, this iconic title combines sprite-tingling horror, challenging gameplay, and a very fantastic soundtrack that I will be playing through the entire review. Shout out to Konami for this awesome artwork. Just the cover alone, when you were at the rental store or your local box store wanting to buy this game and begging your parents for it. I mean, look at that, guys. That'll make you want to play a video game. Let's jump into the map and the legend. Guys, you can see at the top here the map for the 6 bosses, and that is the order in which you're going to complete them. And the levels also go up or down or are linear based on the map. Down at the bottom, you'll see the legend where it shows what each icon looks like that will fall when you're dealing with the game. And on the far right are the weapons, which I'm going to go into a little deeper momentarily, that are absolutely critical to how you approach the bosses in this game. Now over to nesmaps.com. These guys do such a great job detailing out the maps for your Nintendo games. Rick here, who did this back in 2008, really has a ton of detail. And you can scroll down when you first open it, and you can see that's the starting stage. But then, of course, if you zoom out, you can see the entire map. And you'll notice what I mentioned earlier. The map that the game shows you also follows suit, right? You go to your far right for the first level, up to the second, back to your right for the third, then down. And as always, when you zoom in on this map, you can actually see where all of the enemies are at, where they start at, where they're stationed at, and it just looks great. And it's fun whether or not you want to use the map to play the game or not, but it's still fun to take a look at if you're a serious gamer or all want to look at the artwork. Just a great job by nesmaps.com. Let's talk a little deeper on the weapons, which are critical in this game. You have to press up and B when you have enough hearts. And remember, you saw the hearts in the legend screen I showed earlier. That's basically how many times you can throw, like the dagger, for example, you see at the beginning. The dagger is a straight throw, straight as an arrow. The axe throws like you're hurling a rock in the air. Holy water is really actually very effective. When you throw it, it's like a bomb that starts a fire on the floor. My favorite, the boomerang. You throw it and it comes back to you. And the stopwatch, especially for this early in gaming, is also very nice as it literally stops time. Great way for you to catch a breath or get out of trouble. The weapons in this game, very well done, and you can see how they've affected games this many years later. Now let's take a look at Boss 1 and Boss 2. Boss 1, the Phantom Bat, pretty easy. Its pattern of how it flies or dives down to hit you is fairly erratic. But as it states here, the axe and the stopwatch are the best. Stopwatch to stop time, obviously, and the axe hurls in the air at a nice angle, which makes the bat easier to hit. Then we have Medusa. She's a little harder. Boomerang, holy water, and stopwatch are good for her. The holy water is really to kill the snakes that she drops out of her head on the floor. Other than that, she's very similar to the bat with how she swoops around trying to collide with you. Again, not too hard, but a little difficult now that she throws something on the floor for you to also have to jump over, so pay attention. Next up, the mummies. And these guys are, different, obviously, because there's 2 bosses, which you don't see very much in early Nintendo games either. And they meander back and forth, and they will throw bandages at you. You can see in my clip a nice little spot for you to crouch down and try to take these guys out pretty quick. Alright guys, on to Frankenstein, truly classic monster. And as you'll see, Igor on his back is more of the problem than Frankenstein actually. Igor jumps around the screen throwing little fireballs at you while Frankenstein meanders back and forth. You know, you can sort of hear him. You just gotta jump around and keep moving with these guys. Okay, the next boss is Death, or the Grim Reaper, that's what we always call him. And he looks fantastic. I think they really did a great job with his artwork. And he flies around the room. And he also has his weapon that he magically appears randomly. You'll see them floating around in this clip. So you have to dodge those while attacking him, while dodging him. Much harder boss than you've seen so far in Castlevania. And I think they did great with this guy as well. Who's ready for Dracula? Everybody. I know we were playing this game. That's all anybody wanted to get done. We gotta see what Dracula looks like. And you can see here in the clip, you know, he kind of rises up from the floor, kind of sneaky. I thought it was a pretty good job. He sort of teleports around the room, but mostly on the ground. I would have liked to have seen him maybe in the air, maybe come crashing through a window. But I mean, hey, it's Dracula. It's the 80s. You know, everybody wanted to beat this cat. And I'm not showing the whole clip here, but he does transform later. Like all my reviews, I want you to play the game. So I'll save the final transformation for you guys to see yourselves. So come on now. Find this game, buy this game, download you an emulator, but play Castlevania. And make sure you start with the first one. It matters. Next up, I've got another parody clip from Dorkly. Guys, these things are hilarious. Here we go.
Ah, Simon Belmont. I've been expecting you.
Prepare to taste my whip, Dracula.
Oh, yes! Oh, it hurts so bad.
Have another.
Blah, I'm such a bad vampire. Oh, I need to be punished. Ah! Why did you stop?
I'm sorry, it's just, are you enjoying this?
What? Don't be ridiculous. I want only to destroy you. Now, keep going.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go find a sword and kill you with that. Cool?
Wait! You leave me no choice. I will unveil my final form, and then the true battle will begin.
All right.
Okay, so the safety word is Alucard.
Also, I'm sure nobody's surprised, but there is a huge cosplay scene with Castlevania, which is interesting and entertaining, and it shows the reach of video games and that how relevant they still are, even a game from the 80s. Thanks again for watching my videos. Hit subscribe, leave comments. I enjoy just going back through the games that I played and that you played and seeing how relevant they are still today and how they influenced pop culture and our opinions on gaming today. So thanks again. This is Porter's Entertainment Station, signing off.